everybody, Vito Bruno, Village Realty HM. I want to do a video today that I think is pretty relevant. It's not so much a mortgage do's and don'ts or things to ask your lender, it's how I paid the dumb tax. Now, I paid the dumb tax getting my first loan. I still pay the dumb tax today, right? I've bought property, I've gotten over a dozen loans by now, but I still find things that I do that I reflect on and say, hey, you can do this differently next time. It's gonna save you some time, it's gonna save you some money. And I think to be a successful person, anything you have to reflect. So this is a reflection video that hopefully you watch before you do the same thing that I did and it's useful for you. And I think it's relevant to today's market. So today is February 5th, 2021. And the people that we're working with most right now, I would call very savvy buyers. Now, there are people in Massachusetts who realized, hey, we saw a mass exodus out of that Boston market and they moved into the suburbs. The suburbs of Massachusetts are at an all-time high for pricing, and it's because of that high demand from people moving out of the city and also your historic low interest rates. So we have these buyers that are looking around and saying, hey, rental is down, rents are down 8% in the city, prices are down in the city. I want to live in the city. I've always wanted to live in the city. Here's a dip. I'm going to take advantage of it, right? You hear stockbrokers all the time, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. You're seeing that dip in the residential real estate market. And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, what if it comes down? What's going to happen? A lot of people are buying real estate right now as a hedge against inflation, right? We've seen the money being printed. Prices are still going up. Rates are still low. The money you have in a bank right now, it's not beating that percentage of inflation. So a lot of people are saying, I'm going to tie this into an asset and hope that that beats inflation, which historically real estate has always beaten inflation. So you're protecting your cash as well. So we're working with a lot of savvy buyers. Now, things that I did on my first mortgage in retrospect that cost me money that I shouldn't have spent money on, I want to share with you. So first thing I'll say is when you're looking at a loan, know your packages and programs. And when I say that, I mean, know what a VA loan, know what an FHA loan is, know what a conventional loan is, know what a USDA loan, know what specific banks or lenders have their own programs too. The first that comes to mind is Citizens Bank has HomePath. Now, HomePath is a loan that you can put down less than 20% and you don't have to pay PMI. My first loan was an FHA loan, but I put down close to 20%. I could have hit that 20% threshold and avoided PMI. Now, for those of you who are wondering what is PMI, PMI is mortgage insurance. So when you get a loan, you pay four things. Always these four, never any less than these four. It's principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PITI, you'll hear it referred to as PITA, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Mortgage insurance is not part of that insurance. Mortgage insurance is a fifth add-on that when you put down less than 20%, you typically pay. You pay PMI. What is mortgage insurance? It is a fee that goes to the lender or the bank that basically is their way of saying, hey, you have less equity in the deal. You have less equity in this property. You put down less than 20%, which means as a lender, I have less collateral. You have to pay for that now. So that fee is PMI. You're paying that mortgage insurance. In return, you're putting down less than that 20%. That's what PMI is. Now, fees have gone up, right? You're hearing, oh, rates are still low. They're going to stay low till 2022. Fees have gone up, including mortgage insurance. Your fees to get a loan, your closing costs, your refi fees have gone up. Mortgage insurance has gone up as well. So when you're looking for a loan now, just know you can shop your fees. And PMI is something, if you can avoid, I would definitely recommend you do so. And you don't necessarily have to say, oh, shoot, I don't have the 20% to put down, I have to pay PMI. There are some lenders that have programs that can help you avoid paying PMI. It's just you have to learn and have to figure out which lender can do that and can you qualify and does that property qualify. The only way to know is just to ask. Call around. Work with a bunch of lenders, right? That's one of the things that I always have done. I did it when I bought my first property. But the one thing that I didn't do was I had each one go and say, give me a pre-approval, right? A lender's gonna say to you, you're gonna go and say, hey, what's your rate, right? The first question, what's your rate? Lender's gonna say, well, I need your income, I need your down payment, and I need your credit score. And they're gonna send you the form and you're gonna fill it out and it's gonna be the credit authorization. Here's the problem. When you're looking at 10 plus lenders, that's a lot of hard credit hits. Every time they do a hard credit pull, they end up knocking down your credit score. Now, a bank or a lender is going to sell it to you and say like this, hey, it doesn't really matter because it's so incremental. By the time I'm done, you're probably having the same rate anyway. Well, I have a great lender. I have a lot of great lenders. I use a lot of them as resources. One of them for Movement Mortgage, his name's Craig Good. I got to give him a shout out because I've been a huge pain in the ass to him lately by asking him so many questions that I have to give him some piece of credit for something. So he's explained it to me in that it's thresholds, right? If you're below a 700, it's a different rate. Whereas if you're 700 or above, it's a different rate. Or 750 or 725 or 650. So at the end of the day, what these lenders do is they take all your information and they put it into a computer algorithm. And that algorithm then spits out what they can offer you. Now, there is some piece to it that, can you manipulate that a little bit? Maybe. And it's a hard maybe, especially for a first-time home buyer. If you've gotten a bunch of loans or you have a bunch of property and you can turn around to a bank or a lender and say, hey, I'm a seasoned investor, I have a lot more business to give you. Could they potentially give you a better rate based off of that? Potentially. But at the end of the day, most of this is done by a computer software. So when you go to these lenders, just tell them, hey, I don't want you to run a hard credit pull. I just want to know what your rate is. I have Credit Karma. I have some sort of credit app that tells me a rough estimate of what my credit is. This is the number. Run it for me. I want to know my rate. That's a great way to go about it. You're not getting a hard credit pull, and you're shopping these lenders at the same rate, at your same credit score, so you know what their rates are across the board. Now, this is where you get into the little nuance of it, which is, I went to my first lender, or first, approached a lender about my loan, and I just got a great offer. And let's just pretend that offer was 2.5%. And I said, hey, John Smith, can you match this? And he said, oh yeah, I can do 2.5. Just got to pay a point. I'm thinking to myself, oh, well, he said that's so casual. A point must be nothing. What the hell's a point? Like, yeah, all right, sounds great. So what a point is, and when a lender references a point, it's a percentage of the loan amount. It's 1% of the loan amount. So I ended up paying a point, not realizing what the hell a point was. And the way they got around that is I didn't pay that on my closing costs. They fluffed that into the loan. So they put that percentage of the loan right back into the loan. In hindsight, I ended up paying 1% more on that loan, which is going to cost me a lot more over 30 years than just 1%. So I could have saved myself some money there. So I went with FHA, which meant I had to pay PMI, ended up paying points, and I ended up getting my credit hit more times than I should have because I didn't know these little nuances of getting a loan. So make sure you know a couple things. Different loan programs. And again, like I said, I want to reiterate this. Lenders get paid commission structures differently based off of different loan packages. FHA, I believe, to this day is still higher than a conventional loan. So just know that if you go to a lender and they're trying to steer you in one direction, which they legally are not supposed to, it could be because they're getting a higher commission off of that. Also, to the same perspective is points. Points cost you money. Points are a closing cost. Watch out for points. If you get a 2.5 at one bank and then a 2.5 with a point at another bank, go with the 2.5, no points. Then know your PMI. Are you paying PMI? If you're paying PMI, does another lender have a different program that you can use to not pay PMI? I think the last thing I'll say, and a lot of first-time home buyers don't know this, but your closing costs to a degree are negotiable. So, everything in real estate is negotiable. That's why I love real estate. You make your own bed in real estate. Make sure that when you're looking at your closing costs, you know what you're looking through. Feel free to send this closing disclosure to your real estate agent and say, hey, does this look right? Even to that degree, shop your attorneys, shop your lenders, and when you're shopping your lenders, shop rates, make sure there's no points, and check your closing costs, right? Those are all three great questions you can ask a lender. And also, if you're gonna ask them a question, make sure you ask, hey, what's your typical close time? We had a deal blow up yesterday because a property was put under agreement and the lender wanted an extension of 2 weeks for an appraisal. You don't need 2 weeks extension off the PNS for an appraisal. Make sure your bank can satisfy the loan. Make sure that if you find the property you absolutely love, that bank is then or lender is ready to roll so that you don't lose out on that property. Because at the end of the day, You want to make sure you get a great property at a great price and you're not paying a ton in fees. In summary, you're going to work with a lot of real estate professionals. You're going to meet a lot of great real estate professionals, but make sure that you get some added value through using them as a resource. If you're working with someone that's not educating you or doesn't have other insight that you don't as a real estate professional, there are so many of us out there. Everyone and their brother knows a real estate agent or a lender. Move on. Find somebody that you value, grow your network. That's going to help you as a buyer, even if it's one property or 1,000. It never hurts to learn more, and it never hurts to reflect back on things that you've done. Hopefully you take this advice and you can use it and you don't lose any money, or you don't spend the money that I spent when getting a loan. But if you have any questions pre-loan process or going through your pre-approval, feel free to reach out. We try to add value here. We're going to keep adding resources to our YouTube page. I have a couple other ideas, but if you have any ideas or videos you want for me to post or questions, put them in the comments section. Reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to tackle them. Again, Vito Bruno, Village Realty HM. Reach out. Cheers, guys.